Downturn likely impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. Nigeria's economy grew at 0.5% in the first quarter, lifted by higher crude production and oil prices. The country's National Bureau of Statistics said the non-oil sector, which the government is trying to make the main growth sector, rose 0.79% in the first quarter.
The data is clearly an indication that Nigeria's economy is growing, albeit very slowly. The National Bureau of Statistics says though the 2021 first quarter growth rate was slower than the 1.87% growth rate recorded in the first quarter of 2020, it is higher than the 0.11% recorded in the fourth quarter of 2020. The key driver of the growth is the non-oil sector, which grew by 0.79% in real terms.
The impact may not be significant, but what is important is that we are still in a positive growth territory. And when we talk about a GDP growth performance of less than 1%, which is what we have, it shows that the economy is still struggling to recover from the shocks of the pandemic and even the recession that followed the pandemic.
The growth in the non-oil sector threw up surprises. It was mainly driven by the manufacturing, agriculture and information and communication sectors.
The first surprise has to do with the performance of the manufacturing sector, which posted a GDP growth of 3.4%. In the last quarter, before the one that was reported, I'm talking of Q4, it recorded a contraction of 1.5%. And given what we know about the manufacturing sector, about the experiences that they have had in the last 1 year, especially around the foreign exchange liquidity, around the challenges at the ports, the purchasing power, the inflation, and the security, we never expected that we can have such a significant growth number from the GDP.
Growth in the oil sector was still negative, but the level of contraction in the first quarter is a far improvement from that of the last quarter of 2020, as oil production increased to 1.72 million barrels per day over the 1.56 million barrels per day recorded in the first quarter of last year.
So this contraction is high level of improvement, and it reflects what is going on around global oil prices till this moment today. So I would say that while it's still in the negative territory, it's a significant improvement for Nigeria. And it also means that it's very hopeful that Nigerian authorities will not complain in terms of revenue generation like it was done in Q4 2020.
And it's also a bit disturbing that some sectors have remained in recession, particularly the hospitality, recreation, and entertainment sectors. They are still practically in recession. In this latest figure, they still posted a negative GDP growth. Hospitality posted a contraction of about 4.6%. The entertainment and recreation sector also posted a negative of 1.3%. This is very disturbing because these sectors have been down for over a year.
With Nigeria's population growth rate estimated at around 3%, economic experts say the country needs GDP growth rate above that figure for serious economic progress. While the IMF projects a 2.5% growth rate for the country in 2021, the government's forecast is 3%. But if the latest GDP figure is anything to go by, the government has its work cut out to sustain and increase the tempo of growth in the economy to anywhere close to the figure it envisages.